Hello good people, stay tuned to see how I got this look without any spaces or gaps between the braids and without using too much hair, making it bulky. Now because I didn't want a very bulky look, I am going to separate the hair. Now this is one strand, this is how one strand comes out. So I'm going to separate this and I can actually get about 4 strands from this one piece of hair. So I'm going to separate it into 4. And that's what I'm going to use to install. That will keep the hair from being so bulky and looking so big, and actually it's a little bit more realistic. This hair separates very easily as well. Some of the hair, when you separate it, it knots up at the ends, but I had no problems with this separating, so it separates very well. Now my braid pattern is nothing to write home about. It is the typical braids going straight back. Now I have smaller braids in the middle, and that's where I'll have my invisible part, and then of course the larger braids on the side. Now I'm considering doing a middle part as well as a side part, so that's why I have so many smaller braids in the middle, but we'll see how that works out. So what I do is I braid each side and then I connect them in the middle because I'm gonna bring up all of my braids into one braid. So in the end, I'll just have one braid and then I'll crochet that down so that all of my hair is flat. So here I am just braiding that one last braid that I have, and as you can see I have 2 braids left out on either side, and I'm just going to pull those up into the hair and connect them, and then after I am done braiding I'll just have one braid going down the middle, and with that I'll just crochet that into my hair, and then everything will be nice and flat. So here I am taking the latch hook and I'm just going to pull the hair through the braid, and I'm going to pull it taut so that everything lays flat, but I'm also being careful not to pull it too tight. You don't want to pull the hair too tight. You don't want this to be irritating, to your scalp. You want to be able to wear this style for, a few weeks, so you definitely want to make sure that it's comfortable for you. So I'm just pulling the hair through. And then once it comes through that end, I'm just going to go ahead and use the latch hook, go back in on the other side, and keep pulling through until all of the braid is latched into the hair itself and everything is laying flat. And you do want to make sure that you get all of the hair into the braid, because you don't want any little pieces hanging out, because when you take the hair down, you don't want to mistakenly cut your own hair. So make sure that all of your hair is secured under the cornrow and that you don't have any of it sticking out. So I just start on the sides and I work my way in with the braids, finishing up in the middle and connecting everything to that one braid. Nothing special about how I use the latch hook to install the crochet hair here, but what I do want to show you is how I use the latch hook to make sure that there's no gaps or lines showing through the braids. So I'm not putting the latch hook around the entire braid. I have taken just the outer piece and connected the latch to the outer piece on the other half, and I'm latching that across the part. And then I'm going to crochet the hair across the part. Now you don't want to make the loop very tight in this process, because again, you've got hair that is stretched across, the part. And so you don't want to pull it and, pull your hair out or anything like that. So you're going to do your typical loop, but I don't make that loop very tight. What I do to secure the hair is once I get the loop semi in place, then I just tie a knot, and that's where I get the crochet hair secured. So again, I'm taking the braid, the latch hook, and I'm going across 2 braids so that the part is no longer showing. That way, if you're moving around the wind blows, then no one sees those parts in your hair. So here again, I'm going to show you again. It's just the outer piece of each part of each braid on each side of the part. And I'm just going to connect them so that the hair falls down the middle and you don't see the part. Now, I don't use this process the entire way. I just kind of space it out through the hair. You don't have to use this process throughout the entire head. You kind of bricklay it or space it out. So that way the part is not showing. So you have full coverage there, but at the same time, you're not using too much hair, making it very bulky. I found this method to work very well for me. I actually had a friend that is a dancer, and she does lots of hair tosses, and my daughter is a cheerleader, and so I noticed that sometimes when they move their head, you can see all of the parts of the braids, and I wanted to make sure that you couldn't see that anymore, so I started using this method. So let me use my mannequin to show you a little bit closer. So I'm taking the outer piece of the braid on either side of the part, and I'm going to stick the latch hook through those two pieces. All right, so here we go. We're going to use the latch hook, and we're going to stick it through the outer piece of the braid on the right to the outer piece of the braid on the left. Then we're going to go ahead and install the crochet hair. And once I do the loop, I don't make the loop very tight across the part, because again, you got hair being pulled from two sides of the part. You don't want to do anything damaging. So I secure the loop not very tight so that it's pulling the hair. The way that I secure the hair so that it doesn't slide out is I just tie a knot, and then that keeps the hair in place. And once the hair is secured in place with the knot, then you will see that it falls right over the part, so you won't have any parts showing in the hair. And like I said previously, I don't use this method throughout the entire head. I just kind of space it out in certain places. You don't need to do it all over the head. You just need to strategically place it. So again, I'm using the outer piece on either side of the braid to connect it and cover up the part in the middle. Latching the hair on, pulling it through across the part. That does kind of pull the hair a little bit closer together, closing up the gap between the part. And then you go ahead and do your loop, not too tight, because again, you're pulling the hair, so you don't want to cause any damage. You secure the crochet hair by tying a knot. And I usually double knot it, and that will keep it in place, and then the hair falls straight down over the part. So your part is no longer showing. And I hope you can see this a little bit better on the mannequin than you could on my head, because I couldn't get close enough and get it focused. So I'm hoping that you can see it. And so here's the finished product. You don't see any lines or spacing in the hair. I can shake my hair from side to side. You don't see any lines or gaps between the braids. I didn't have to use too much hair, so I call this a success. So this is the finished product. I'm going to go ahead and shape the hair by adding in some layers. And the technique that I use, it's a new technique for me. I haven't seen any videos on YouTube, so I'm not sure if anyone else is already using this technique. But like I said, it is new for me. I do hope that you enjoyed the video. I do thank you for watching. See you next time.